限まで圧縮した大気。受け取れ。ウルススショック。さらに。
What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to bring you guys a showcase video for one of the Sugo Fest exclusive characters that I was lucky enough to pull in the recent Pirate Rumble Sugo Fest, which is the Pirate Rumble Sugo Fest exclusive KUMA. And yeah, man, I've been KUMAing for Legend KUMA for quite a long time. For those of you who are longtime fans of the channel, seen me talk about it on stream. Before KUMA was a legend, I always said that I wanted this character to receive a Sugo Fest exclusive. I was so happy to see that he actually did receive one, though it was obviously like a monkey paw situation because you receive your Sugo Fest exclusive KUMA, but he's a Pirate Rumble legend, which obviously has quite a few drawbacks that we've seen thus far. We see that Pirate Rumble legends typically are a lot weaker than typically, you know, released legends in regular batch Sugo Fest at the beginning / the end of each month. And they usually also, well, all the ones that we've seen thus far, do not have super types or super classes. I don't know why they don't go out of their way just to give the characters those abilities. I guess they want to reserve those types of effects for more desirable Sugo Fests, so they want people to pull on these terrible new batch Sugo Fests, but it's just annoying, man, because I really wanted this character to receive a legend, and while he does have one, it's nice to see that he got the respect that he deserves. But he kind of also didn't receive the respect that he deserves, considering his Sugo Fest exclusive character probably isn't as desirable as some of the other ones in the game, specifically just some of the other Pirate Rumble legends in particular. But I digress. Let's actually get to talking about what KUMA actually does, because he does have a pretty interesting kit, but definitely could have been helped a little bit more with a slightly different special ability and also adding a super type or a super class effect. So KUMA himself is a strength shooter powerhouse character, so pretty interesting type and class combination, and his captain ability, which we will be showcasing in this video today, and specifically in the final clip, you guys will be seeing how one of the effects of his captain ability will be put into fruition. But his captain ability will reduce the cooldown of all characters by 1 at the start of the quest. He then will boost the attack of strength characters by 5 times, until you miss a perfect, and then it will go to a 4.5 times boost. So it's kind of similar to like a V1 Doflamingo, for example. Before his 6+, he was like a 3 times boost to Driven until you hit a perfect, and then if you miss, you don't get any attack boost. Whereas, you know, this guy, you know, 5x boost, but if you miss one of your perfects, it becomes a 4.5 times boost instead. He also boosts their health by 1.5, which is pretty substantial, and then he has a really cool ability where he does 100 times the damage that he received from enemies, in typeless damage to all enemies at the end of the turn. It's a really cool mechanic, especially on like these Garp challenges, for example, where you just tank a little bit of damage and then you can output a lot back to them straight away. So if there are any of those stages with normal attacks only, obviously it makes it a little bit difficult to do damage to them, but at the end of the day, he does still do the reflect damage, which is pretty nice. However, for like clashing coliseums and arenas, for example, getting your cooldown, getting your stall off efficiently before you reach those boss stages could be kind of difficult, you know, trying to stall on the turtle, and if it does damage to you, you just reflect damage back, you instantly kill the mobs. It does kind of suck. So there's both give and take with an ability such as this, but there's also a really cool other effect that he gets in his captain ability, where he resists the enemy's effect of blowaway on your crew. So any situation where you're inflicted with blowaway, KUMA can resist it, and as I said, the final clip of this video is going to fully showcase that when we reach the worst generation Garp challenge. And also, the fact that KUMA is a strength shooter and powerhouse character means that he has a really decent synergy with the recently released 8th anniversary hybrid form Kaido, and that is essentially what we're using for all 3 clips here, because the synergy with that Kaido is amazing. I mean, Kaido is such a broken legend, and if we have to run a mono strength team and we are able to use Kaido as a friend captain, it's going to be pretty optimal to do that. Just the fact that he has that amazing super class special to guarantee Wano slots and tandem slots to get the super tandem effect, and of course, because we are using a friend captain, we can use a friend captain with a really high super tandem level to ensure that when we are reaching that final stage, we can abuse that to get through the content a lot easier, which is super nice. But of course, realistically, KUMA himself, he doesn't really provide that much with his captain ability. You're relatively tanky, you have a decent attack boost, and then the cooldown, and then if there is any blow away under any circumstance, you can just resist it. So a pretty plain, boring captain ability. Him as a crewmate, though, is kind of interesting. He has two very good crewmate abilities. The first of which is that he cannot be blown away, of course, which is pretty typical with his captain ability. But he also completely resists the remove SFX debuff or the blindness debuff. Actually pretty cool. Pretty niche that effect, because not too many characters have that. But then his special ability, which will go to a 14-turn cooldown, 13 with limit break, 12 with expansion. He does 50 times the amount of damage taken before you launch the special as typeless damage to all enemies, and I believe that cap of damage that he is able to do is going up to 10 million damage. So if you take 200,000 damage before you launch the special, which you're normally not ever going to get, but if you do take up to 200,000 damage, he can reflect up to 10 million damage to the enemy, which is pretty wicked. And then he also says that if your maximum health is 60,000 or above, which if you look in this circumstance, our max HP is 113,000. When you launch the special of KUMA, he gives you a 2.5 times color affinity boost to strength characters. Otherwise, it'll be a 2.25 times boost instead. So this is also probably one of the biggest issues with this character in general, is the fact that color affinity, as being the only boosting effect that he provides, is really not that powerful, because it's only very useful if you have type advantage, and in a lot of cases, if you're trying to use a character in a lot of different content, you're not always going to have type advantage. So that's a huge problem, because this is only good against Dex enemies, which essentially it's almost like a win more type of situation. And the fact that his special ability doesn't really provide your crew with any other pieces of utility, like no bind, despair removal, paralysis, like any other type of utility would have been incredibly valuable to this character. Unfortunately, it is just a damage dealing special and color affinity, which is pretty unfortunate, considering, you know, we really wanted this character to get some respect, honestly, and he really didn't receive it. This is a pretty lacking special ability that doesn't really provide too much. So when we have a look at his special ability and his captain ability in general, like, this is a pretty underwhelming legend in almost every facet. Some people are going to disagree to a certain extent, where, you know, if, you know, 2.5 color affinity boost is very good, and I mean, it is good in a certain way, but the thing is that KUMA himself does not actually have that many good support characters that can attach to him, so that really lacks utility, and his special ability also lacks utility. So essentially, the only reason you're going to be using this character on your crew is for some reason if you need his crewmate abilities, which is not going to be too often, or if you just want a huge color affinity boost. But, I mean, realistically, it's a lot better to have a color affinity boost that also can provide you with a piece of utility that's going to help you a lot more in clearing content. And KUMA does not do that at all. I mean, he's a damage dealing special, so you could potentially put V1 Akainu on him to give you a full board of matching slots and also give you an attack boost. So I guess if you are looking to do a lot of damage towards a Dex enemy, yeah, KUMA could work in that type of situation. But I mean, realistically thinking here, this guy is not a character you're going to use in a lot of scenarios, which is such a shame, honestly. The final thing that we can look at here is his support effect. Now, his own support effect is actually pretty decent. He attaches to any strength powerhouse character. And no, it is not separately strength and separately powerhouse. It has to be a character that shares both of those traits, being a strength and a powerhouse character. But the effect says that when you reach the final stage, he will boost the color affinity of strength characters only by 1.5 times. So that is a good support effect, honestly. I really don't like the fact that it only boosts strength characters, considering he only attaches to strength powerhouse characters. I think it would have made a lot more sense if he does boost the color affinity of both of those, you know, types of characters. But again, it's still a pretty good support effect. A 1.5 color affinity support on the final stage. You can never disregard that, getting a free 50% bonus damage on the final stage, so long as you have that type advantage, of course. So, you know, in a lot of situations, I see KUMA definitely being used more as a support rather than being used on the crew for his actual special, because I feel like if you just have another character on your crew that can already provide you some really good utility, and if you do need a color affinity boost on the final stage, it's it's probably more ideal to just use KUMA as a support in that scenario, right? So it is unfortunate. I really hope we get a V2 KUMA sometime in the future that can give him much more substantial abilities. I would be very much looking forward to that compared to what we have right now. But, you know, there are going to be some niche uses for this character, I'm sure. You know, just to reflect damage is going to be kind of nice. But realistically, it is a disappointing SugoFest exclusive, so hopefully we can get a better one in the future. But that's going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.